Hello, my name is Daniel Devine, and I would like to introduce you to a card game, a gambling card game to be exact, that I have been playing for 6 years. It's a game that I play with my family around Christmas Eve. I usually play it with my grandma the most because she loves this game. And that game is 31. 31 is something that I have been taught how to play when I was 13 years old and have started introducing the game to my friends. And despite being a gambling card game, I've played it before without any money and have had just as much fun as I would with money. So I'm going to introduce you to some terms that you may or may not have known about before. If you ever played cards before, you probably heard these. If not, then there's something new for you to experience. I'm going to teach you some strategies, some useful tips while playing 31 or any card game in general. And of course, I'll tell you the rules for 31 as well. So, one of the terms that you hear in 31 is suits. Suits or suit are basically the classification for the cards in 31. So there are four different types of suits in 31. You have hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. Now, the reason why suits are important in 31 is because in order for you to reach 31 or any high number, you have to have the same suits. So for example, if you were to get 10 of diamonds, 4 of diamonds, and 2 of diamonds, then you would have 16 cards. 16, your number will be 16. You would have a number of 16. So, if you were to have, let's say, 10 of diamonds, 2 of hearts, and 4 of diamonds, you would only have 14. You would not include that other suit. Another useful thing to know is that kings, jacks, and queens, which they can be classified by the K for kings, J for jacks, and Q for queens. Those cards are the same as a number 10 card. And a ace, which is an A, is the same as 11, and this card is what's going to help you get to 31. There's also another term that is often used in 31 called three of a kind. Now, three of a kind is kind of breaking the rule that I just talked about, the whole stay in the same suit in order for your cards to count. For three of a kind, though, you have to have 3 cards of the same number. So right here, I have 3 cards that are number 2 on them. This will give you 30. Something else that you'll hear about in 31 are counters. Now, I have with me 2 quarters and a nickel, and these are my counters. But you can use anything really for counters as long as they're small and you have 3 of them. I use counters because that's what I grew up. We kind of use that in my family. These are your life points, basically. You have 3 of them, and you lose counters. You do not gain counters. If you lose all 3 counters, then you're out of the game. If you have all of your counters, or at least one of the counters, then you stay in the game, and if you're the last person left with the counter, you win the game that way. Now, hands is a term used to describe what is in your hand. So, basically, you have to have 3 cards with you at all times, and you cannot let other people see your hand, or I've heard people say your deck. So it's whatever you prefer to call it as. Some useful strategies that could be used when playing 31 would be to keep whatever cards you have up to your chest, or what I usually do is I'll do a quick look and then put my hands down and have my cards all facing down so that whoever is sitting next to me cannot see what I have in my hand. You do not want your opponent to see what you have. And also, you do not want to look and see what they have. A good strategy would be to keep an eye out for what cards people are collecting. So if you see someone pick up a 2, or a 2 or 3 or 4 or a small number, that could be a good indication that they're going to do a 3 of a kind. Or if someone keeps picking up like a heart or a diamond, or they keep discarding like black cards or red cards, that could give you a hint of what their hand's going to look like and what cards they want. Other thing that I would like to talk to you about is how to deal. Some of you may know how to deal or shuffle, but basically, for those who do not know, I have with me a deck of cards. I'm going to show you how to deal. I'm not very good at shuffling, so I'm not going to show you how to shuffle, and there's many ways to shuffle. So dealing, all you do is you take the pile and you pass 1 card at a time to each person in the group. So I'm going to pass the cards to the person to my right, and you always start with the person to your right, and you just keep doing that. Basically, you do yourself last, person to your right first, and you do that until everybody, including yourself, gets 3 cards. And then you take the card from the top of the pile, face it upwards, set it down on the table, take the rest of the pile, put it right next to it, and then you begin the game, which I'm now going to teach you what the rules are. So, the person to my right, since I dealt, the person to my right gets to pick a card. And you can either pick from this deck, or you can pick from this pile. I call this the discarded card pile, because when you pull a card from, let's say I pull a card from this deck, and let's just say I don't want this card, I'm going to put this card into this pile. And you can pull from either one of these. It doesn't matter. You just have to put whatever card you don't want into this pile. Now, this goes on for a while until you knock. Now, knocking is when a player knocks on the table, and that tells that the other players that they have one more chance to pull a card. Now, remember that only one person can knock for each round. You cannot have 2 people knocking the same round. And a knocker cannot pull from the pile. Once he or she has knocked, then they have to wait until everybody else pulls a card. They cannot pull a card themselves for the rest of that round. Once everybody has pulled a card from the pile, the person who knocks puts down their hand, everybody else does the same thing, and then we all look to see who has the smallest hand. So whoever has the smallest hand loses a counter. Now, if the person who knocks has the smallest hand, then they lose the counter. Basically, they just take whatever coin or quarter they have, set off to the side, and now they have two counters left. Now, you're probably wondering, how does 31 fit into this? Why is this called 31 and not knocking? Well, it's called 31 because the goal of the game is to get 31. And that can be done one of two ways. You can either get two cards that are either like a king, queen, and jack, a number 10 card, or a letter 10, number 10, excuse me. Have that equal 20, get an ace, and add that all up, that gives you 31. Or you can get 3 aces, and that gives you 31. So doing that will cause everybody else besides you to lose a counter, and if you knock and someone else gets 31, then the person who knocks loses 2 counters. Now, when you get 31, throw your cards down immediately. Do not hold on to them. I've had people do that. That's not what we're supposed to do. As soon as you get 31, you say 31, put your cards down, and everybody else loses a counter. So, you believe that that is the basic rules for 31. If you would like to know more, then you can ask me. I know that the game has quite a few rules, and some of the terms for newcomers might be hard to remember, but in my opinion, it's a pretty easy card game to learn, and nothing that's really difficult or frustrating. It's meant to be fun. That's the main point of 31, is just to be fun. So I hope you had fun learning. I had fun coming up with this and teaching you how to play 31. So